So, I got the Gamma Green Redmi Note 8 Pro in 6 plus 128. Technically it's not mine, but I'm gonna be using it for the next couple of days. I did buy it from a local MI home store. Highly recommend doing that if you've got access to one, instead of hoping that you'll be able to get one in the next flash sale, because honestly these are selling like hotcakes and hope is not a good strategy. So it's currently about 9 in the AM and I just finished transferring all my data from my previous device, which is the Pocophone. So everything I say will be with reference to this device. First impression, the Gamma Green looks incredibly stunning. I love the color. For once there is a color that is not black that I would be happy to rock on my phone. Sadly though, most of us will slap a case on it anyway. Speaking of which, they do include a transparent case in the box. Not anything out of the ordinary, but I'm happy they do include one. This is a big device, and that's coming from somebody with gigantic hands. I mean, I can operate this one-handed, but for most people with average size hands, you got to be looking at two-handed usage. It's just a little bit bigger than my Poco, but honestly, even my Poco, I used to think it's too big. Now I've got used to it, and I feel like devices shouldn't get bigger than this. This is just too much in my personal opinion. It does have, on the bright side, a very small bezels though, and that means you get a big display, so that's nice. I've never been one to complain about bezels, but this has small bezels and I'll take it. Looks nice. So I've been using the phone for some time now. The biggest thing I've noticed, or rather not noticed, is any kind of difference in performance coming from my Poco phone. The Poco has a Snapdragon 845, this has a MediaTek chipset, and I know there's general stigma around MediaTek chipsets, but honestly I really cannot tell the difference in day-to-day tasks, even comparing them side by side, as you'll see in this clip. Now I know the MediaTek implementation means there is no Gcam yet, but do you really need Gcam, or is this stock camera good enough? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about them cameras, and let's talk about them one at a time because there's 4 of them. So let's start with a regular wide-angle camera. It's 16 megapixels. The dynamic range is great, and there's plenty of detail in images shot in good light. In fact, there's more detail than my Poco phone. I shot some photos on that as well to compare them side by side, and there is more detail, which can be explained due to the fact that the Poco has a 12 megapixel sensor. The 64 megapixel on this is a nice touch too. The images are sharper than the regular 16 megapixel, but at the same time it's not night and day. It's not as revolutionary as Xiaomi advertises it to be. If you're going to be buying this device, it's not for the 64 megapixel device. In fact, it does not even have HDR for some reason, which is a big bummer. In low light, the images are okay at best. There's some degree of noise, and while the images aren't straight up unusable, they're not great either. And when you use night mode, it either drastically improves the image or completely destroys it. But either way, the image becomes really soft. There's not as much detail, which is fine. I mean, it's quite common for a phone to do it in night mode, and especially at this price. Now let's talk about that ultra wide angle camera. Well, it is really cool. Sometimes it can make things look funny and distorted, like Dinesh's head in this shot or my upper body in this one. But when it's not making things look funny and distorted, it is really cool, I'll give you that. Now while it does have option for HDR, for some reason the dynamic range is not as good as the regular 16 megapixel, and oftentimes the image out of the ultra wide are also very soft. You need to have really good light to get a sharp image. There is macro mode, but it's not really my thing, so sorry, I do not have pictures of a cockroach leg or a half-eaten chocolate or something like that. The front camera is cool too. I like the way it white balances. The color reproduction is really nice. The color out of it is extremely pleasing, but sometimes it just over sharpens the image, which is not really an effect that I am going for. Alright, bottom line, the camera is alright for everyday shooting, and even for photography. If you know what you're doing, if you edit your images a little bit, you can produce some really stellar images. I know people who have produced even better images with less superior cameras, so honestly it's up to you what you make out of it. But yeah, even for the average user, for everyday shooting, from what I've seen so far, and you can take this with a grain of salt, this is not my complete camera review, I think it's great. It'll get the job done for everyday shooting. Alright, second day with the Redmi Note 8 Pro. Yesterday I ended up with around 7 hours of screen on time on what one would call medium usage, mostly just social media, some YouTube, and some shooting with the camera app. Very standard battery life for a Redmi device, but very good battery life. Now while watching YouTube videos yesterday, I noticed one thing kind of unusual in my opinion. Maybe it's just me, but At lower resolutions like 360p or 480p, the display looks over sharp. Maybe it's just me, over sharpened in like a bad way. It almost has that HDR look. But then at 1080p it looks just fine. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Go check it out at a store for yourself. I'll put a clip on screen right now. Hopefully it'll convey. If not, well, then just check it out for yourself. One last thing, MIUI 11. It's fine, it's nice, it's alright. Unfortunately, it still comes with a lot of bloatware in the form of cancerous apps like this. Thankfully, some of which you can uninstall, but yeah, on the whole, MIUI is not really for me. I've never been a big fan of the interface, so I did install Nova Launcher as always, and that's how I use the device. That being said, it does come with its sort of small but nifty features, like this one inside the camera app. It shows you the camera orientation. It's a little indicator that shows you the camera orientation. I've never seen this on any Android skin before, but I thought it was genius. So it's full of little features like that. So if you're into that, I think you will like it. Alright, my time with the Note 8 Pro is up now. I gotta give it back. Thank you, Sumitra auntie. So what do I think? Well, from the 2 days that I've had this device, I think it is a sweet device. That being said, I would urge you to watch a complete in-depth review before making your purchase decision. Maybe even check out some other offerings from the likes of Realme and Samsung. Also want to thank these two awesome people for making this video possible. Check them out. I'll leave their Instagram handles in the description below. If you enjoyed watching this video, give it a like. If you did not, vote it down. Let me know in the comments why you didn't like it. If you're new around here, consider subscribing for more videos just like this one. It's been Suraj. Thanks so much for watching. Take it easy and stay devoted.